Now for you, this is our first artist and song tonight. Ed, go ahead and read that for us, and I'll just look up the details.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first artist is Social Sound with their song L'Illusionista.
Oh, that was very good. I thought that you did well, didn't you? Do you speak Spanish? Is that Spanish or is it Italian? I'm not sure.
I wouldn't want to guess.
The artist is actually in the comments in the chat at the moment. So now Susie told me that when she heard this song, she speaks Italian, so she said, "No, it's not Italian. That's Spanish." Let's see if she was right or not. Just let me know in the comments in the chat there if it's Spanish or Italian. So let's go through the details. The Amadeo contacted me from Social Sound and said that he is a complete amateur with lousy instruments. This is a good start to an introduction. A complete amateur with lousy instruments. Recorded it with Reaper, which I've never used. Have you ever used Reaper, Ed? No. But lots of people do swear by it and love it, so it's good. Now, this was interesting. He uses a Tascam IU2 sound card, right? I'm just going to Google that quickly. That's what they're getting by with. Some Ibanez guitars going into Bias Effects 2. I can tell you that Bias Effects 2 is a really awesome guitar amp and cabinet simulator, one of my favorites, very, very good indeed. Using MT Power Drum Kit, which is a free drum kit. We've dragged this out long enough that Ricky's back.
Hey.
Nice to see you, Rick.
I'm so sorry, guys. The network bloody box decided to bug out on me. Just
well, it's nice
to do a big intro.
I know. I did do a big intro, and we'll get back to that. We'll talk about you. We'll go back to that. We'll just finish because people have had to go through a lot since you've been away. To be honest with you, with this broadcast. So we'll just continue here. Finally, as well as that free MT Power drum kit, which Ed would love to use as a drummer, and he also used Crystal, which I think is a free synth, as far as I remember. So there's a lot of free stuff going on there. There's as Amadeus said, really crap instruments, all that sort of stuff. I'm building this up, and I guess my point is going to be that this was not produced on the best top quality sort of gear. Okay, without further ado, and I must apologize, it's in mono again, guys. We'll talk about that again in a moment, but we'll have a listen to it now, see what you think.
Oggi il giorno ed ora tornerò da te. Ho visto cose che non potrò scordare, che amici fantasma e morti senza più una voce, vita cruda, gente esclusa in cerca di una croce. L'illusione sta srotola il suo show, promesse di canditi, montagne di balocchi, sui balconi cantano i salti, banchi suonano. sogni del futuro. Chiudo gli occhi adesso, amore, e dimentico l'orrore. L'illusionista srotola il suo show, promesse di canditi, montagne di balocchi, sui balconi cantano i salti, banchi suonano, la patria si è divisa tra scienziati e ciarlatani. Srotola il suo show, promesse di canditi, montagne di balocchi, sui balconi cantano i salti, banchi suonano, la patria si è divisa tra scienziati e ciarlatani. Scienziati e ciarlatani.
How about that for a start to the show? Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I sort of didn't mention earlier, as if you're a regular to the show, all the music that we're streaming is in mono. This is not my fault. This is StreamYard's fault, who I paid for the stereo service, but I'm not getting it, and I'm not getting much technical support from at the moment either. Grrr. But anyway, we live with these first world problems, don't we, guys? And that's probably a good idea to listen to your mix in mono anyway, they say. So let's start off anyway with Ed's comments on that piece of production. Ed?
Cool. First thing that struck me was that, I'm assuming that was played on an electronic drum kit, and then the samples from the sample, was it a sample library?
Yeah, it was MT Power Drum Kit, which is a VST plugin, yeah.
Okay, because I just the way the cymbals were played, I get the impression that was done on an electronic kit, which, you know, well played, and the samples sound pretty good. I think, and it's quite a nice sounding kit. Instantly thought the vocals were too loud in the mix, and then I thought, hang on, maybe the bass isn't loud enough either. The vocals, particularly in the chorus, quite a bit loud. Now, there's a bit of a debate with this, because rock music, if you listen to some rock music, you know, particularly like the LA stuff, the vocals can nowadays be very low in the mix. I listened to the new Offspring album, and the vocals are so low in the mix. It's almost kind of too far the other way. So maybe it's a stylistic thing. If you listen to pop records, the vocals are always very loud, being the most prominent thing, but they still sit and blend in the mix. I felt they were loud and also a little bit muffled. I wonder if the volume has been used to compensate for the lack of top end and clarity on the vocals. But otherwise, good voice, and really nice use of. It almost sounded like there was a very subtle delay, but with loads of long reverb fed into the delay, which is quite a nice little trick to soften the delay, so you don't get the attack of the delayed signal. If you wash it in reverb, you can do this sending it via buses and auxes and stuff. Lovely guitar lines throughout, and generally a good solid rock song structure, which is my thing, so I like that. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Good track. I mean, I didn't understand a word of what was going on, but was it Italian? Did we find out?
Italian, apparently, yeah, according to
Italian,
people in the chat, and which I was surprised, because Susie used to live in Italy, so she does speak a bit of Italian. She was listening to it, she was going, I think it's Spanish. So maybe when she lived in Italy, no one understood what the hell she was saying. Possibly so.
Yeah, but I mean, good melodic developments, good contrast between the verse and the chorus. I thought it was a solid song. Yeah.
Yep. What do you reckon, Rick?
I enjoyed listening to that one. I would echo some of Ed's comments on that. I mean, the vocals. I mean, look, if I was to talk about how I mix, yes, if it's a song, you're showcasing the vocalist more than anything else, so it would be high in the mix. But I think there might have been a couple of issues with EQing, because it sounded like, especially at the beginning, the vocal was a bit separated from the music tonally. It needed to be a little bit more into the background, so maybe a little bit of reverb might have helped with that. There was reverb in the choruses and stuff, but I think it was the EQ profile for me that I'm thinking, that could do with a tweak. But as far as the construction of the song goes, I mean, it's great. You knew when you hit the chorus, really nice construction there, and of course the guitar lead that was in there as well. I mean, that was nice. That was well placed. It needed to be there, and that was really, really happening. So I think it's a really good track. It might need a revisit on the mix though. So there's nothing that I would take out. It's just simply to give it a slightly different balance.
Yep.
That's ticking all the boxes.
Yeah, I agree. And what I suspect happened when we first listened to this, because I'd play these tracks in the house with not just me listening to them. Susie, with her non-technical approach, said, "Oh, the vocals sound a bit muffled," and I think what she meant there was no crispness in them. So what may have happened is they've gone, "Oh, I want the vocals to sound warm." Initially, the thinking process, I want them to sound warm. So they've made them sound all kind of warm and taken all the top end out. But of course, then they lack presence. So what they've done is push the volume up, because they've gone, "Oh, the vocals are too quiet," and then push the volume up. And so that's a really important lesson, is that when you're thinking about how loud something is, don't always go for the fader right away. As both you guys were saying, play with the EQ to expose things, and of course, in a more detailed way, carving out sound for space for the vocals as well, where it's conflicting with other things.
A really great thing for helping vocals sit in a mix is to add the air frequency. So above 10K, if you add in 2 or 3 dB just on a high pass, on a high shelf, all the way up to like 20, 25K, whatever your DAW goes up to, you'd be surprised. It just adds something. It's not necessarily audible above, certainly above 20, 15K. It's not necessarily audible, but it's just a presence. It's an air. It's a lift that helps it sit above everything else, because there's not going to be many other instruments in the mix.
Some cymbals or something up there, but
maybe about 10K. But above that, there's not too much going on. But the voice does project those.
Listening to that, I mean, an effect came to mind that might have worked really well. Certainly with the first verse, you hear it on the records a lot, where they use like the telephone frequencies kind of thing. So if you wanted to do it dry, shove it into the telephone EQ profile, and then when you get to the chorus, it's blam. It's kind of a little bit like what Evanescence used to do with their tracks, kind of thing, But I think that's the key to this one. It's all in the mix. The construction, performance, everything's great.
Good song. I like the vocals, and one of the things I liked about the it's just one of my favourite things about any songs, is the guitar solo was really good, but it wasn't like flashy. Like a lot of it was like one note. You can do a lot with one note on an electric guitar over and over again.
Kurt Cobain did well doing one note.
Yeah. So, but no, I like that. I like that. It's just about. It's not about the guitar player having an ego at all. It's about doing what's right for the music, so the listener gets vibed up listening to it. Anyway, so I really did appreciate that part of it.
Speaking of ego, in your experience, guys, who has the bigger ego, guitar players or singers?
Singers.
Singers.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
Right, guitar players have had to work at what they do at least. So, just offended all the singers out there. Sorry, guys.
Mostly followed by the guitarist, yeah.
So anyway, yeah, thanks so much for your submission there, Social Sound. Now, I think, as the guys say, just to redress the mix. Actually, the